People, this Saudi Arabia thing, because I've been seeing a lot of that, you know, on my little social media stuff. But I mean, how can you say that these people are Esau? Ishmael is Ishmael, Esau is Esau.
Right.
You can't mix the two.
Right.
I mean, there were 18 nations. One of them was, you know, Ishmael. You can't. I don't know how people come up with this. It's supposedly the white-looking Arabs.
Right.
You are who your father is. You know what I'm saying? So if you are in fact one Arab and your daddy Esau, you still Esau.
Right.
It has nothing to do with, you know, the Arabs, because your Ishmael is Ishmael, Esau is Esau. You can't. It's ridiculous people coming up with this doctrine. I don't understand this at all.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Also, I read an article. I might send it to y'all when I get home, Facebook and other things. But also an article, you know, written by Edomite scholars. You know, it was going into the history of the Polynesian Islands, the Japhites. Even the Esau scholars and the biblical scholars know that the people in the Polynesian Islands are Japhites. Nowhere did mention that they're so-called white people. And in the article, I read a few articles that said, who are the Polynesian people or who are the Japhites today? And it was going into the history, bringing out that they're going into the Japhites and the people in the Polynesian Islands. These are Edomites, Edomites now. Edomite scholars and all this stuff, biblical scholars, historians, major scholars.
Right.
Going into, not once did they mention that Japhites are Edomites, going into so-called white people. Not once. You only hear stupidity like that amongst Israel. I don't know where that came from. I don't know, stupid Israelites, you know, they studying too much. They try to show that they know so much, that they some serious scholars, but they became reprobates, man. Putting out stupid garbage. But then again, like I said, we don't know if Israel's been infiltrated, with stupid doctrines been pushed, but I don't know, man. You gotta be seriously dumb and stupid and ignorant to think the so-called white men are Japhites. Even the Edomites in the nations, you know, who the so-called white men is, man. I don't know who this is.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 13. He that answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame unto him. He that answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame unto him. With that being said, and now I present to you the white man Edomite doctrine laid to rest. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 16. All scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. I'm going to repeat that. All scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. Now I emphasize on for correction, because I used to teach that the white man is Esau doctrine until I increase and further my studies. And I realized that that doctrine is wrong. That doctrine is off. Because there's too many of us out there that want to hang on to that doctrine so the white man can fit the prophecies. But the white man is not an Edomite, according to the scripture. Psalms chapter 119, verse 104. Through your precepts I get understanding. Therefore, I hate every false way. One reason why a lot of people can't get this understanding is because they can't humble themselves. They too cocky. I mean, my thing is, what if your doctrine is wrong, which it is, and you showing how cocky you are? You just so confident that the white man is Esau. The white people are Edomites. Before I start this lesson, I want you guys to do this. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 19. Better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly, than to divide the spoil with the proud. Because a lot of us are walking around with the proud spirit as if they know everything. And as you see, I go precept by precept. You know what they do? They go book by book. Nothing that has nothing to do with the scriptures. I'm showing you, I'm walking you through the precepts. Me as well as other brothers and sisters that teach this doctrine, that teach the correct doctrine. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 23. A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. Yeah, because a lot of us are out here, we too prideful. But like I said, what if you're wrong? I see you guys out here on these videos. He's so cocky and so pride. You can't be wrong. But what if you are? Which you are. Are you going to humble down and admit that you're wrong? Or are you going to continue with this false doctrine? Let's start off with Joshua chapter 10, verse 13. And the sun stood still and the moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and hasted not to go down about a whole day. So it said, is not this written in the book of Jasher? Let's go into the book of Jasher. I want you guys to get an understanding of how the Edomites and the Ishmaelites and a lot of the Arabs, because that's what they are, a lot of the Arabs got their color. You know, the Arabs used to be black or ruddy. Not black, but ruddy, like the Hebrew Israelites. Let's check out the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia and look up ruddy. Ruddy, reddish, red, color of blood. Adam, be red. An adjective used to describe healthy reddish skin. The dark-skinned Hebrews found great beauty in a ruddy complexion. Let me repeat that. The dark-skinned Hebrews found great beauty in a ruddy complexion. The RSV and NEB have replaced the AV's use of ruddy in Genesis 25:25 with red. The reference here is to Esau's hair rather than to his skin color. Let's repeat that. The RSV and NEB have replaced the AV's use of ruddy in Genesis chapter 25 verse 25 with red. The reference here is to Esau's hair rather than to his skin color. So when we read Esau being red in the scriptures, they're making reference to his hair, not his skin color, because he had the same ruddy complexion as his fellow brothers and sisters. Abraham, firstborn son, was from an Egyptian named Hagar. Genesis chapter 16 verse 15. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. So Ishmael was a Hebrew because his father was a Hebrew. But guess what? Ishmael was an Arab. Why was he an Arab? Because his father was a Hebrew and his mother was an Egyptian. That would make him an Arab. Now, when you read the book of Jasher, Ishmael married an Egyptian and a Canaanite. So he produced some offsprings from these women. And guess what? They was Arabs. And they were black or ruddy, like Hebrew Israelites. They were ruddy. Now let's see who Esau married. Let's go to Genesis chapter 26, verse 34. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beeri, the Hittite, and Bashemoth, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite. Now, Hittites are descendants of Canaanites, which are what we call today Africans. So Esau descendants are or were Arabs, and they were ruddy like Hebrew Israelites. So why do I say that they were Arabs? Let's go into that. Exodus chapter 12, verse 37 and 38. And the children of Yashara'Allah journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, that were men beside children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. So who is this mixed multitude that went up also with the children of Yashara'Allah? So let's go into the Hebrew concordance. That's Hebrews 61:54. What does this word say? Arab. Arab. Also a mixture or a mongrel race. Arabia, mingled people, mixed. So if you are a mingled person, meaning that you are biracial, anything, that means you are an Arab. That's the Hebrew term for mixture, Arab. So Ishmael was an Arab. His descendants are Arabs. Edom wasn't an Arab, or Esau wasn't an Arab, because his mother and father were Hebrews. So Edom or Esau wasn't an Arab. But guess what? His descendants were Arabs. Well, Esau married Canaanite women, which were Hittites. So guess what? His descendants were? They were Arabs. What happened to the Arabs' ruddy color? The book of Jasher, chapter 90, verse 7 through 9. And the children of Kittim continued their pursuit of Edom, and they smote them with a great slaughter. And Edom became subject to the children of Chittim. And the children of Kittim ruled over Edom. And Edom became under the hand of the children of Kittim, and became one kingdom from that day. And from that time, they could no more lift up their heads, and their kingdom became one with the children of Kittim. First of all, who is Kittim? They became one with Kittim. Who is Kittim? So if they was ruling over Edom for a period of time, you best believe they was intermixing their seed with the children of Kittim too. But who is Kittim? Let's get that. Genesis chapter 10, verse 2 through 4. The sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshash, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan, remember Javan is a son of Japheth. So the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dudanim. So Kittim is a descendant of Japheth. So who is Kittim? Who we consider to be Kittim today? Let's go into the Hebrew and Greek concordance and see who Kittim is. 3794. From an unused name denoting Cyprus only in the plural, a Kittite or Sybarite, hence an islander in general, the Greeks or Romans on the shores opposite to Palestine. Kittim, Greeks or Romans. In this case, the Romans. The Romans are Kittim. Let's see in this book, From Babylon to Timbuktu. Let's see if this book validates what we just read in the book of Jasher. Let's go to page 23. This is the origin of the white race. This is the middle of page 23. There was an Indo-European invasion, Germanic, of the Middle East between the years 2000 and 1500 BC. These Germanic tribes intermingled with the black people everywhere they traveled. This mingling made the people in Syria, Babylon, Assyria, Persia, India, and parts of Arabia much lighter in complexion. Now, the color of the people in this region ranges from brown to yellow. The Greek and Roman invasions also made these people in the Middle East lighter. Another fact we should not forget is that the Moors and Arabs from North Africa captured and raped European women. As a result, the North Africans became lighter. At one time, these people in North Africa and the Middle East were all black. Yeah, we know that. Whites have intermingled their blood with blacks in Asia, Africa, and the Western Hemisphere. In spite of this, the colored people of the world control about 3/4 of the Earth's geographical area. Because the colored people of the world are in a majority, it is proper to infer that the whites have always been a minority and that the black people are the original people of humanity. Now, we know that already. So as you see, this book, From Babylon to Timbuktu, supports and backs up what the book of Jasher just said, what we just read. But what about the Bible? Does the Bible back up what we just read? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. And that's exactly what Esau's doing. He's trying to hide himself. How? Let's see how he's trying to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. So Esau and his brothers' seed is spoiled. How are their seed spoiled? Through intermixing with other nations like the Greeks and Romans, which is how they got their color. But guess what? The Most High still know who you are. There's no way he can hide, no matter if he intermixes or not. Let's reread that. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. Let's go into the Blue Letter Bible and look up Esau. That's Esau. That's H6215. Okay. Esau means hairy, not wasted away is he. I don't know where people be getting that from. Esau means hairy. It says, the eldest son of Isaac and Rebekah and twin brother of Jacob sold the birthright for food when he was hungry, and the divine blessing went to Jacob, progenitor of the Arab peoples. Progenitor meaning the father of the Arab peoples. Esau. Now, how many times you see brothers bring this out when they look up the definition of Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. Now, how many times you heard people say that? He became the father of the dark races, but not the Negroes. But of course, you're going to have scoffers trying to go in and say, that's not what that means when it comes to Esau. You already know. They waiting in line right now. That's not what that means. He can't be the father of the Arabs. But we just read clear that it says he's the progenitor of the Arab peoples. Just like Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes.